to today's special live stream where we dive deep into a skill that can transform relationships, careers, communications, even your emotional well being. Today's topic is the art of effective listening, how to really hear others. And joining us is a wonderful guest, Maya, a thoughtful communicator, a keen observer of human behavior, and someone who believes listening is the foundation of meaningful connection. Maya, welcome to the live stream. We are honored to have you.
Thanks
Before
for having me. Happy to
before
be here.
before we jump into the questions, let's set the stage. We live in a world where everyone wants to be heard, but very few people actually listen. Effective listening in is not just about ears; it's about presence, empathy, patience, and intention. Today, with Maya, we will explore how anyone can develop the art of truly hearing others. So, let's start our question. Maya, in your view, what is effective listening and how is it different from simply hearing someone?
That's a good place to start. Hearing is passive, it just happens, like sound waves hitting your eardrums. Effective listening, though, is active. It's choosing to focus, to truly try and understand not just the words someone's saying, but also the emotion behind them and even what they aren't saying. It's about being present enough to pick up on nuance, body language, all of it. It feels less like waiting for your turn to talk and more like genuinely trying to step into someone else's shoes.
Okay, why do you think people today struggle so much with listening despite having so many ways to communicate?
Ironically, all the ways to communicate might be the problem. We're bombarded with information, constantly multitasking. Our attention spans are getting shorter. It's like our brains are wired for quick hits of dopamine, and deep listening isn't that. Also, people are often more focused on formulating their response than actually absorbing what the other person is saying. It's easier to think about what you're going to say next than to really grapple with someone else's perspective.
Okay, what role does empathy play in becoming a truly effective listener?
Empathy is huge. It's not just about intellectually understanding someone's situation, it's about feeling with them, trying to connect to their emotions. And that's tough because it requires vulnerability. You have to be willing to tap into your own experiences, your own feelings, to even begin to understand what another person is going through. It's not about fixing their problems or offering advice, just acknowledging their experience, letting them know you see them, you hear them, and you understand, at least on some level, how they feel.
Okay, does emotional intelligence help us listen better? How?
Absolutely. Emotional intelligence is kind of the engine that drives empathetic listening. If you're aware of your own emotions, what triggers you, how you react, you're better equipped to manage those reactions and stay present for someone else. Helps you recognize emotions in others too, read their cues, understand what's going on beneath the surface. A high EQ means you're less likely to get caught up in your own stuff and more able to focus on the other person's experience.
Okay, in conversations, what signals shows that someone is not really listening, even if they appear to be?
Oh, there are a bunch. A big one is interrupting, not just talking over someone, but even finishing their sentences. It says, what I have to say is more important. Another is just waiting for a pause to jump in. You can see it in their eyes. They're scanning for an opening, not making eye contact, or their body language is closed off, arms crossed, looking around the room. And then there's the classic nonverbal cues like nodding along mechanically without any real engagement. It feels performative.
Okay, what are some practical steps anyone can take to become a better listener starting today?
Okay. A few things. First, practice active listening. Summarize what the person said to show you were paying attention. So it sounds like you're saying is a good start. Second, resist the urge to interrupt. Seriously, just bite your tongue. Third, put away distractions. Phone down, close the laptop. Give the person your full attention. And fourth, ask clarifying questions. Not to challenge them, but to genuinely understand. Like, can you tell me more about that? Or how did that make you feel? It shows you're engaged and want to connect.
Okay, how does body language contribute to good listening?
Body language is massive. It's about conveying openness and attentiveness. Things like making eye contact, leaning in slightly, nodding along. Those signal you're engaged. But it's also about mirroring the other person's body language subtly. It creates a sense of rapport and connection. The flip side is closed off body language, crossed arms, avoiding eye contact, which can send the message that you're uninterested or uncomfortable. It's not about pretending to be interested, though. It's about genuinely trying to connect.
Okay, Maya, many people listen just to reply. How can we shift to listening to understand?
It's a great question. It's a total mindset shift. Um, you have to consciously remind yourself that your goal isn't to formulate your brilliant response, it's to grasp their perspective. One thing that can help is to mentally bracket your own thoughts. Like, acknowledge to yourself, okay, I have a thought about this, but I'm going to put it aside for now and just focus on what they're saying. It takes practice, but it can really change the dynamic of a conversation. It's about curiosity, not competition.
Okay, how can effective listening strengthen our relationships, personal and professional?
Huge impact. In personal relationships, it builds trust and intimacy. When someone feels truly heard, they feel valued and understood. That strengthens the bond. In professional settings, it improves collaboration and reduces misunderstandings. It shows respect, and people are more likely to be open and honest with you if they know you're actually listening. It fosters a more positive and productive work environment. Ultimately, it's about creating a sense of connection, and that's essential in any relationship.
Okay, what are some common barriers to listening, such as stress, ego, or distraction, and how can we overcome them?
Stress is a big one. When you're stressed, your brain is preoccupied, and it's hard to focus on anything else. Ego can also be a barrier if you're too focused on proving your own point or being right. Distractions are obvious phones, notifications, noisy environments. To overcome them, you need to create space for listening. Maybe that means taking a few deep breaths before a conversation to center yourself, or actively silencing your phone and finding a quiet place. With ego, it's about practicing humility and recognizing that you don't have all the answers, being willing to learn from others.
Okay, what advice would you give to someone who feels unheard in their own relationships?
That's a tough spot. First, be direct. Calmly explain to the other person that you don't feel heard and how it makes you feel. Use I statements, I feel unheard, when instead of you never listen. Second, try to create a safe space for conversation. Maybe suggest a dedicated time to talk, free from distractions. Third, and this is harder, consider if you're also actively listening to them. Sometimes it's a two-way street. If that doesn't work, it might be helpful to involve a neutral third party, like a therapist or counselor, to facilitate the conversation. It's about advocating for your own needs, but also being willing to work together to improve the communication.
Maya, thank you for your valuable insights and your warm presence to our wonderful audience. Listening is more than a communication skill, it is a form of respect, a gift, and sometimes even healing. When we truly listen, we build trust, we create understanding, we make space for others to feel valued. As you leave this live stream, remember this: the world becomes kinder, conversations becoming meaningful, and relationships become stronger when we choose to listen with our hearts, not just our ears. Thank you everyone for joining us. Stay connected, stay kind, and most important, keep listening. Allah Hafiz. Thank you, Maya.
You're very welcome. That was a great discussion. And a lovely way to wrap things up. Oh, all right. Have a good one.